All right. So let's get down to the start of everything. Now that I kind of went ahead and got things cleaned up a little bit better than they were, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of delete this real quick. So I started to make one of the videos. There's a little bit of fucking around happened to go going around or whatever to where I wasn't being able to give you guys the video you guys are after. Who wants to go ahead and sit here for fucking 20 minutes trying to learn how to do something that takes you literally 5 minutes to do, if that? And that's probably for somebody that doesn't even know what they're doing. No, fuck it. I'll do it later. Anyway, so you guys want to learn how to skin your stuff. You're trying to make boots, trying to make gear, trying to make bikes. First, we're going to start with some bikes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I got to the MXB mod site. So if you come here, I'm a fan of going to Google and then typing in anything I'm looking for. If I'm looking for a link to a track, if I'm looking for a PSD, whatever I'm trying to do, I go to Google and then just include MX bikes and then exactly what you're after. And that way it'll open up a search to all the pages within the whole MX bikes community rather than just this one. So that way you can maybe find stuff that's maybe older or forgotten or not used much. First things like you're going to want to need is you're going to want to get Photoshop if you don't have it. I'm going to put a link down below to where you can go ahead and install it. I have some people sitting in on the course inside the Discord that may be possibly popping in here and there and asking questions. I'm kind of wanting to start doing a few classes because I feel like, within 2 to 3 weeks, you guys should know everything that you need to know in order to fully skin a bike and understand it for the most part. I mean, maybe give it a month, I guess, doing once a week. Granted, I understand everybody learns at a different pace. I'm a fast learner. I like to learn by myself, and I pick up on things quickly. So, my patience really might not be the greatest for some people, so I apologize in advance. But so let's go and let's start off with something easy. Let's say you guys just want to put a number on a bike. Okay? So first thing we're going to do is we'll take that. Let's get one that I guess I want to at least have. Here we go. Perfect. Perfect. So you find you a bike paint. We're gonna go. Yeah, that'll be fire. That'll look good. Anyway, we're gonna come down here. I'm always a fan of doing that direct download. I do like that they incorporated that in there. So now we got it as a paint. We'll click on that. Let's show it in folder. So it'll be in my downloads folder. Alright, well, I'm going to throw that over to the side for now. And let me kind of revisit what I was getting at by getting a model. That way we can have this downloading while while we go and we start kind of learning some other things. But first, you are going to need this. I'm sorry for the back and forthness a little bit about it, I forget, what it's like kind of being new to the skinning world, and kind of all the necessities that you got to have. Because, once you've got them, it's not like I'm downloading them every day. Let's go here. MX bikes. See where that MX bikes links comes in handy? Yeah, okay, so this is what you want right here. I will install, I'll put another link down below so you guys can maybe find this a little faster than I did, make things go a little smoother. But you're going to want to definitely get this. I did not notice this before, uh, but this would be something very handy to grab too. Now you see these bikes and rider templates. I believe I've downloaded these before. Shit. Yes, I have. Um, there is some stuff within there that would be handy, but it's all the basic stuff that I mean, granted, the gloves are something that you're going to need in order to make your own skin later and stuff like that. Goggles, not so much. Helmets, unless because for the most part you're going to probably be using somebody else's model. If not, you're going to have your own model. Uh, and we don't really use that. This is kind of the bone stock shit, I believe. You don't need armor, bike parts, any of this stuff. What I would get is, if anything, is your gloves. I would get this chain PSD, I guess, if you were to get anything. Get the stand PSD. Wheels definitely is a PSD that you're going to want, because that is something that I do use with bikes. You just include it with the TGA. But anyway, a PSD is for Photoshop. That's what that means. But it can also be other forms of it. If it's a TGA, that's what you want to set to put it into Paboso, I guess you could say. So like after you're done making a paint, you're going to make it a target file, and then you're going to use painted to convert it into a paint file, because you're going to take multiple different target files and basically smush them together to make the painted file that has your reflected map, your shaders map, and other things such as that. But yeah, so that's something you can go ahead and grab too. Hopefully you got Painted downloaded by now. Hopefully you also have that paint that we originally downloaded. And we'll just go ahead and open up Photoshop and get that going now. I'm going to kind of go ahead and work on the side as far as finding the OEMs, because I'm not sure exactly where the hell they are. Anyway, so you remember how you went ahead and you did the whole show in folder? I went ahead and I right clicked it and I went to open with, and then I went to, oh, that's why it's not working. Damn it. I usually make my shit, I don't ever do it this way, but this is if somebody's got a paint that you really like. It's probably not the best thing to show you, because like then you're stealing somebody's work. I'm taking this such as, let's say, hey, this guy has no numbers on it. It's a public bike. If it's a public bike, then I believe you're able to use that bike and throw your numbers on it. Now, you can't recreate it and say, oh, well, this is mine. I did this all. No, like give people their fucking credit where it's, where it's needed and used. Granted, I know that I have not credited one person yet, so just shout out to like everybody, dude. Insane, you're the man. Frosty, rubbing tugs for you, my guy. Reaper Doc, dude, I love your streams, dude. Way to keep the fucking community going. I know there's so many people I'm not thinking of being put on the spot, but just thanks to all you guys. Like, you guys are what has inspired me to kind of do this, to kind of maybe get more people involved with the community, I guess you could say, learning how to do things themselves, and hopefully be respectful about things, and how they go about using it. Yeah, this is kind of some of my stuff that I have now, and I've kind of been messing with. Where did that file go? Okay, so we need Painted. I've already have this installed, so once you have it installed, you will follow as it says in the directions. I believe that came with a README, and it'll show you how to kind of set everything up and where to put it and stuff. Anyway, so now if it is PNT like this one is right here, wherever it went, here we go. PNT means paint. It's a paint file. So that's what you actually would put in your folder, you know, like usual. So we're going to take this and we're going to get a paint read, and we're going to refine this. So it's in C, users, 2will, downloads. That's your path, you know, how you find what folder things are in. And you always want to try to remember where you put everything, because it can be a pain in the ass trying to find things if you don't know what you did with them. This PC. So C, users, 2will, and downloads here. Here we go. Open that bad boy up. Okay, so this is your diffuse map, this top one right here. So even though it shows shading in this, well, actually, I guess that's fine that it shows shading, because your R is your reflections map. That's not something you're really going to fuck with. Most of the time, the PSDs have them already inside them. And so all you need to do is just turn different things on. I'll explain more whenever we get to one of those PSDs to where I can actually explain it to you. Actually, this is the bike we will use. So look for this. I know where it is. This model is anyway. So go back to Google just so you can get used to using that. What the hell was it? KX 250 20, what, 2021 model? Frosty MX bikes. Alright, perfect. So this is the model I believe we are on with everything else. Oh, this is the model swap. Shit, my bad. Hopefully it's not the model swapped. God damn it. Alright, so like with the Cowies, there's some shit that can get you confused. I'm going to go back here. We're just going to go to the templates. I believe. Yes. Forgot about that, Bad Jackson. That way we can kind of scrub up that Cowie. Since I'm kind of on that topic, I kind of want to just touch base on it and get you to where you're understanding it a little bit better. Where the fuck's the OEMs? Son of a bitch, if he wasn't so laggy. You gotta be fist fucking me. Yeah. I know it sounds stupid, dude, that I'm doing it like searching for handguards, but it's simply because that's the only way I can remember how to find all these models, because everybody was wanting handguards with this and handguards with that. And I'm hoping they didn't get taken down. That's a fire ass bike, boys. Like, best know. Yeah, that'd be a good bike to get too. I can't believe there's no more pages. I feel like there's so much more of MX bikes that is inside there to download, but it's harder than fuck to find it. Um, Gonna jump on another thing too. So even though 3D Viewer is down currently, and that makes things so much easier when doing all this modding and stuff like that. But anyway, another thing that is a lot helpful is BH50 2021 logo sheet, and also the logo sheet down here by Regret 325. Shout out to those guys because fucking they have made some awesome logo sheets to where you guys don't have to go and look for this logo or that logo. They've got it all. And uh, shout out to Regret because he, went down, took the time. I believe BH50 did a little bit too, like as far as like, the parts of the bike, like if they're bike parts, like they had their own sheet. If they were, you know, gear, they had their own sheet. If they were, like random things like Toyota Tundra or something, they had their own sheet. And then, they were organized within each sheet. So, I'm not knocking him at all either. But they are just very helpful to have and use as well. So I highly recommend getting those, and they will kind of make the first few times of you using Photoshop a little easier. Um, I can't believe I've already kind of been at this for about a half hour. Jesus. Um, Damn it. I am going to have to. Damn. I can't believe I can't find it. I don't know why. It's such a fucking pain in my ass. Oh, that's why. God damn it. What the hell's the forum? I really thought I had a link there. That'd have been fucking sweet. Perfect. Just what I needed. Hopefully. Fuck no. Alright, let's go to the end of this. Let's see. And that's one of the hugest things about shit is always trying to fucking find shit. Oh, it pisses me off. So get used to that. I wonder what the hell. Let's go back one, see if there was anything. Oh, well, fuck, maybe I'm just fucking stupid. Where the hell? There we go. Finally, dude, I found it. Okay, I'm definitely going to go ahead and link this because this is something you guys will all need. So these are the bikes that you guys all have right now and are that allow you to get into each server. So if you guys want the PSD for this, boom. Thank you, Frosty, and Insane and all you motherfuckers, like thank them because yeah, they make this all useful to you guys and to where you guys can do this. There are model swaps now. You can change your CRF and stuff like that. Now, I'm not sure if that affects the PSD as far, because you got a TGA code with every model. Like, so the KTM is every single model. Like, it is far out. So, like, let's say, like, these bikes, you got to save it as, I believe it's TC, something like that. Yeah, I believe it's TC something. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, but anyway, you got different TGA code for everything, and it goes all the way back down to your O2 and O3 KX or RM. And actually, we're going to go ahead and get this one. I already have it downloaded. So if you're following me on what I'm doing, download the RM and let's run with that one. That way I can explain to you because it's a totally different style of PSD. It's a lot more generic and easy to understand. And we'll start with it. And then I want you to download... trying to think of one that's very sophisticated and stuff. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, let's do... Alright, one that don't get used very much, and I believe, for the most part, I've seen a lot of people on Yamahas. So, right here, Frost Templates, says head over to MXB Mods. Ah, Jesus, I hate that being right there. I wish we could just slide it over a little bit, So, here's our Yamaha PSD that we are after. What's good? Boo boo. And I'm hoping that I don't have a model swap on my Yamaha, but I'm not 100% sure. I got to talking, wasn't even thinking about what I was doing. We'll get to downloading this, like I say. So, back to kind of what I was getting at was, where were we? With your normals and your reflective map. So now inside these, you're going to have different layers. So now if a layer is above another, it shows priority. So let's get that Suzuki folder. Shit. I want to take this and I want to so now we're kind of jumping back and forth a little bit too much. I'm hoping that you guys are catching with me. I'll kind of stop bouncing around once I kind of get... There's topics between both things that we're using that like will help you understand other things when doing it. So that's why I kind of want to touch base on it rather than kind of just leave you in the dark and have you just kind of being like, what? Which I wouldn't be surprised if that's how you feel right now. But so we're gonna unpack this, and now you're gonna want to choose a folder that you can remember, because this is where that paint is going to become something that you can utilize within and work with within Photoshop. Granted, do not use this technique to steal people's stuff and claim them as your own. Now, if it's a public bike without numbers, granted, I know this one is not a public bike without numbers, but, and it's not, you know, it's one that somebody created, but hey, I'm giving them some fucking publicity, and I'm not going to run it because I've got my own stuff. Anyway, so we're going to go to where I save most of my stuff, which I like to keep my stuff on a whole different, place. That way I can kind of keep things half-ass organized. I know it don't look like it is right now, but it kind of is. Just trying to find... Yeah, that'll work. So we're saving that. Whenever you unpack it. And now, do you guys remember that wheels.psd template that was in, that I told you will use? This is in relevance to that. So whenever you save something, and that's another thing too, is whenever I go to save, like let's say this is your TGA code, this over here, your KXF21. So that's what I would name my paint once I am done painting it, everything's done, looks good. Now, your normals map is this. So if you see something like this within a PSD, whenever you get it, you'll want to click the eyeball of that layer that looks like that and resembles that within the fucking thumbnail. And you'll want to get rid of it. Also, another thing you can do to kind of cheat is you can get a paint file, the original paint file that comes with it, because I believe some of the bikes come with already made graphics and stuff. Take one of them graphics, unpack the paint, that way you can get your codes, and then what I would do is I would just go ahead and copy these bad Jacksons. That way all you gotta do is come up with one TGA code, and it'll save you time and confusion on these other ones. So now what I'm gonna do is now that we got that all saved and stuff, let's open it up and see what we got. I don't remember where the fuck I put it exactly. Like I say, you want to remember where you put things. I've just got entirely too much stuff, and I need to just clean it all out because it looks bad. I believe it's in here somewhere. Oh shit. What did I do? I can't remember what they actually come out as. Damn it. Sweet. I believe that's it. So now I have specific settings. So what I do is like I have my stuff in here, like my proofs. I believe it's in Windows or plugins or view or something like that. I have it to where I can see the colors for what they are. So that's kind of something that I'm going to show you how to do real quick. And then once you have them set up like that, do that when opening files. That way you can see their true color and not kind of like once you get it in game, it's like, oh my god, it don't look like it was supposed to. So first off, we'll go here. We'll go to proof setup. And go to let's go to custom. And then what you're going to want to do is I'm sure you are lost right now as far as what is going on. Look for your monitor. Your monitor should be in there, and look for RGB. Honestly, anything RGB would work because you're just wanting it to not be CMKY, because that's probably what you guys got, and that's just, it's just not good for we're creating web graphics for instance, for instance, and so you're going to want some sort of RGB because that's what shows up. CMKY is more printer, more kind of like 2D and blah looking, very dull. It's gay. Ain't about it. Anyway, so here's mine. We'll do that. Set it custom. There. Preserve RGB numbers. Looks good. Now you can save that, so in that way it's always saved like that. I'll just do it now to show you. Just hit save. No big deal. Then you're good to go. Now, let's go ahead and let's get back to what I was talking about. So, first off, here are some necessity things you're going to want to have open and stuff, in which I should probably move things to where they look a little bit more like yours so I don't get you confused, because I know that can be a pain in the ass when you don't know what's going on, and you can get confused easily. Just hold on. I'm going to get it all out of here. Perfect. Close. Fuck it, we'll just close that too. Be easier. Alright, so let's say you got nothing on there, and now you can also go ahead and save this workspace. What you're going to want is essentials. It's probably what you're going to start off with. Okay. I'm not really a fan of that, so I'm going to hit that little arrow there. What that is that just shifted everything to where it kind of stayed up towards the top, rather than have all these going down through the side. I don't like it. Also, actions and history, that's something a little bit more too advanced, so if you want to go ahead and get rid of those so you can utilize more space, go right ahead. Another thing we would want, brushes. Now I deal with all that up here, but we'll just keep it over here for now and just keep it minimized in order to, now if you double click this, it'll expand it. If you try to double click it again, you got to make the arrow thing, it'll contract. That's just some click little things that you can do. Also, you just kind of hover over these and move them. Let's say you go ahead and drag one of these out. Oh shit, like I wanted that to be there so in that way I wasn't lost. You just click on the tab and you'll drag it to where you want it and you'll put it there and wait till it highlights blue. Once it highlights blue, it is ready to accept it. Let's say you wanted to put it down here underneath this tab. Since there's nothing there, you'll go until you see that blue line at the bottom, and yeah, you're good to go. Put it back where it was. Okay, so layers. Right now, it's got a padlock on it. If it's got a padlock on it, that means that it's locked. You can't fuck with it. You can't do anything to it. So you just shut that off simply by clicking on it. I clicked with my left mouse. So let's go in here. I'm going to be really quick about this because I don't want to be sitting here messing with some other dude's stuff. So your brush tool. Alright, so basically this kit doesn't explain much as far as to how the layers and stuff works, because you're only seeing one layer. So whatever you have selected is what's going to show up. For instance, let's say I added a new layer. That's what this is a new layer. Okay? I can go ahead and let's copy and paste a picture in here. Oh shit, that's Adobe stock. Never mind. Alright, let's say we copied and pasted this PNG in here. I believe that's what it is. Well, here, we'll rasterize it that way, make it a PNG basically. Oh. Okay, V. V is a shortcut to selecting this tool. This is your selection tool, your move tool, your do almost everything tool. It's your fallback on. It does everything. Like, I'm gonna click this one time here, for instance. So I have this one highlighted. So when I've got this highlighted, see how I'm moving this design? I just clicked and I'm holding it with my left mouse. Now let me hit an Alt Z, or Control Z, my bad. Control Z goes ahead and undoes the last thing that you did. Whenever you go into a paint, especially if it's got a lot of folders and stuff, don't just go clicking and moving and doing all this and that jazz, because you will ruin that PSD and you won't be able to fix it, because you probably won't notice it until it's too late, and you only have so many undos until you run out and the PSD is the way it is and you'll have to start completely over. So if you get too far, it's always best to go ahead and save it. And what I like to do is I'll save it and I'll add a 1, and then a little bit later I'll add a 2. So in case maybe I messed up somewhere in between 2 and 4, I can, you know, revert back to maybe 3 and not have to go all the way to 2 or whatever, you know, rather than, eventually you would have to live with something. So it kind of gives you a little bit of options, and then you can just go in and delete stuff as needed. So let's say you cut your numbers out of one of those logo packs. We'll pretend that you wanted the 743 or the DIR. That was going to be your race number. Now, ignore the fact that this is just this here, because it would work just the same as this right here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hit we'll go up here to, let's try with our magic wand. Let's see how that works out. And better yet, we'll just use the 7 since they're a little bit more abstract. See how the D has a perfect line around it? It'd be easy to select it and have the difference show up. Also, make sure that your sample sizes and tolerances are the same as mine, and that with your magic wand tool, which is W as a shortcut on your keyboard, you know, make sure that you have this clicked on. This is your add to selection thing. So that way, whenever you're down here, and I have my tool set up to where it's set up, my cursor is to the exact point where I can go ahead and look at this and, you know, make sure, hey, this is exactly where I want my line to be, rather than have it be this tool right here. Where is this where the middle is? Is this the middle? Is this the middle? So basically, like the picture shows, or that little clip did, we're going to click this. Well, hey, it got my 7 here good, but everything that's got an ant around it is selected now. So, all right, let's click it again. Oh, we'll just click all this until, you know, just this number is set. Oh, here we go. Perfect. Now it has everything but the yellow and the forks selected. So see, let's say I was to go ahead and I'm going to go to my brush tool. I hit B. B is for your brush tool. It's really handy to get to know these little shortcut keys, because coming and moving your mouse back and forth sucks, dude. My wrist gets to hurting. I ain't about it. So see how I'm not able to paint in that? It kind of made a selection. It's kind of like doing select inverse. See how I can paint over all this though? That's not what we want. We're wanting to take these numbers. So I'm going to hit Control Z, and I'm going to do it again because I did paint a little bit down here. And then we're going to hit Control D, and that is to deselect. Now, if you can't remember the keys for stuff like that, let's say you got the magic wand and you're wanting to not select something. You can either come up here and you can do deselect, or if you wanted to reselect it, you know, you can reselect. And inverse means, let's say I highlighted everything, or I highlighted around this lightning bolt, but nothing else was highlighted. I could do select inverse, and it would make everything outside of that able to be messed with, but that be left alone. It's a very useful tool, as well as one of the tools that kind of go unnoticed is the object selection tool. So if you've got maybe a square subject or something of a 90 degree angled format that you're wanting to select, that's your tool to go to. If you're looking for trying to get, let's say I wanted to grab both of these front forks, so in that way I could paint them all one color, but I didn't want to get too close to where I painted this too, or whatever. Granted, you can do mask files, but I'm just trying to get you guys to know the basics of how things work. And yes, your PSDs will look good if you take your time and everything, and they will work in game. That's the main point. And as you guys learn and as we continue these courses, I can go ahead and get you to where you're learning a little bit more of aspects of it. And I don't know everything about Photoshop, to be honest. I'm kind of a jackass because I use two programs. I use Illustrator and Photoshop. I use Illustrator for logos such as like this. This was all made in Illustrator because it, and along with this too, while I got it, we'll expand it a little bit so you can see. See, I make all my logos for the most part inside there. Inside of Illustrator for the most part, just because I like the way it's worked out. It's a good program. So we'll get rid of these. Granted, you may not have this stuff down here. That's fine. Libraries, I believe it comes whenever you actually pay for Photoshop. See, I pay for the Creative Cloud. That's how I have access to Illustrator and Photoshop like I do. If you decide to sign up and buy it like you should, say that you're a student, take what I've learned. I believe that they charge too much for what we use it for. I believe that it is a little on the expensive side for me, using the few apps that I do. And I mean, I'm not making any money off of it. I don't ask for money. I just do it for my benefit and my satisfaction, and maybe hook a couple people up. For the most part, I don't ask for money whenever I'm doing skins or anything like that. Yeah, maybe if I need like $5 for a can of chew, and it's Wednesday, yeah, you can bet your ass that you're gonna catch me trying to sell a skin for a can of chew. Anyway, sorry guys, had to get a dip of chew here. So let's say we've got back to this and we're wanting to select it. We'll get our magic wand tool. You remember how this one was all highlighted? And let's say all we're wanting is 7. Better yet, let's say that we want all 3 of those. 7, 7, 7, but we don't want anything else included. Okay. So now you can, since I have your magic wand tool, which was W, I could right click on everything around these areas. Oh, and I'm scrolling up on my mouse to zoom in and scrolling back to zoom out. And if you hold spacebar, you see how that hand pops up? Then you can move your mouse and click to drag things. If you don't like those, here's your hand tool to where you can go ahead and use that to drag it. Granted, then you got to go switch a tool again to do whatever you were going to do next. That's why I'm a huge fan of these shortcut buttons. Also, something I've learned too here recently that I think you guys will like is So you see this hand and it looks like it's like a little square with an arrow. Let's click on that. And we're going to left click and then we're going to move our mouse. Yeah, so let's say you were trying to line something up, but it was just at a shitty angle. And I mean, I ain't trying to get you guys in here doing handstands and showing all your cool tricks and stuff. You know, we're trying to learn how to paint some bikes, you know. Try to get some stuff done. You can't be having all that shit. That looks shitty. Oh, so I'll just Control Z and that should straighten it back up. Control Shift Z is redo, if in case you go back too far. Okay, let's keep going. So I Control Z'd all the way back to this aspect. We're going to go back so in that way, in case you are in the same place, you can figure it out. What the fuck was I going to do? Oh yeah. Select, deselect layers. God damn it. Didn't mean to deselect layers. I meant to deselect all of that. So whenever you deselect a layer, basically it just, instead of this being highlighted, none of them are highlighted. So therefore, anything we do over here is not going to show up. If it is something above one another, it'll be on top of it. Such as, I'm going to use my V tool. Such as, see how I have this highlighted? And I was pretty close to this, but not close enough where it's like, oh yeah, you were definitely clicking on me. Yeah. Here, this is driving me nuts. I'm going to hit R, use your rotate tool, square that bitch up. Actually, what the fuck, why can't you use... So now with this, you're just going to have to do the best you can to get it straightened back up. I think that's good. I'm using my keyboard and IRL to kind of see if it lines up good from side to side, and it looks good enough that I think I could maybe get by without bitching so much. Anyway, so let's say how we were going back to selecting the 7s. I can't believe that it worked so damn good that time. I guess it's about the same. So you selected it and it didn't select everything you wanted it to. Well, this is where that tool I was talking about comes in. It's a new one that I've found. Make sure you're on your minus if you're wanting to erase things that are selected. And then make sure you're on your plus if you're wanting to add things to your selection. And then also, if you're just wanting to use it to begin with rather than the magic wand, you're more than welcome to. It works like a paintbrush. I will Control D and I will show you, because maybe you will like that way a little bit more, but I feel like it'd be more of a pain in the ass. I'm actually going to go ahead and fix this so in that way it doesn't look so damn retarded. If you've seen, and you can see the tools that I highlight and what they do. See how I'm selecting a different color? See how it changes a little bit on what I select on? What it does is it matches the color that's right there. So I'm going to go with this color. I'm going to hit brush. We're at 31. Opacity is kind of like window tint, I guess you could say. Whenever it's at 100, you rattle can your window black. Let's say you're at 50%, you're allowing about 50% of the characters and the elements below this sheet to be seen. It's about the best way to describe it. Flow is kind of like kind of like a garden hose, or a garden hose versus a firefighter's hose. At 100%, you got a firefighter's hose. It's coming out as fast as it possibly can, you know, and compared to a firefighter's hose, I would say probably 10 or 20% is probably comparable to the average garden hose. So you can kind of fluctuate with these two, and I like to use those to maybe kind of do away with something, you know, or paint over something. Anyway, so I want to get rid of this element right here. So I'm zooming in with my mouse scroll. Now, see how it's a little bit too big and there are two different colors there? I'm going to go to brush. It's at 31. You can right click on your mouse and you can adjust it from right here. You can move your size down. Hardness is kind of like, let's say this is 100% hard. Do you see how perfect that circle is? How it's nice and sharp edges? And then this is kind of like if you were at like 50% hardness. It's kind of like if you had a spray can and you held it right up close to what you're painting versus way, way far away from it. There, let me get something to drink. And I'm going to probably go through this and edit it a little bit because I feel like there's a lot of key points that I highlight, but it's just done in a very piss poor manner. I will be honest. Whenever you find a brush tip you like, you can add them to your presets. That's what this is. Granted, it's kind of an advanced thing, but it's pretty handy if you've got, whenever you're switching back and forth between 3 different brush types, because, you know, you're trying to make this lightly over shading something, and you're trying to make this, you know, stand the fuck out. So that's how you can kind of do that. We'll go with right here. We want this hardness at this. Actually, we'll soften it up a little bit, so that way I can show you some setting now how it works. Still a little bit too big, but that's fine. We'll just kind of inch up here and just make it look good. Okay. So now we'll do eye. That's your eyedropper tool. That's figure out what the fuck that color is and use it. We'll go to B. We're going to scroll out a little bit. We're going to hold shift. We're going to left click on our mouse while we're holding shift so we can drag that up. And then let's go ahead and touch up on this. Why am I not painting? There we go. That's where that hardness factor comes in. You see how slow that is? Ew. And you can go clear down to, you know, this size right here. So in that way you can get them fine details that, you know, you will see if you're paying attention to it. Oh shit, we'll get in here good. Kind of just make that blend in with there. And then I'm going to hit it with an eye here. Well, we'll eye this one and then we'll go back to our brush. It's still on 1, I mind you. Shit. So we'll scroll out, see how that looks. kind of touch it. Oh, fuck. Sorry, I got a shitty spot where my mouse is at. Hopefully you guys got something a little bit more smoother so you don't run into this shit storm. Usually I'm a lot better, but I guess the pressure is on when you guys are viewing how I do things. And, you know, if you guys ever got questions, just pop in to me on Discord. I'm pretty sure I left it up long enough for you guys to see what I do in my name, and you can just add me in there. I'm willing to answer any questions you guys all got. Just let me know that you watched the video, and if you, and we'll take it as that's pretty much the code word. Because, yeah, I hate that, you know, I'm doing these classes where you guys could be sitting in watching and having questions as they go, or, you know, telling me to shut the fuck up and quit rambling and show me how to do this, you know, kind of keep me on page a little bit, you know. Whenever I'm in here by myself, I get to ramble, I get to doing dumb shit that doesn't matter, like kind of what I'm doing right now. But in a sense, it is showing you how to do fixes that you're going to probably run into when doing this. We're going to kick this up a little bit bigger because I can't stand how small that is. And then we're going to go all the way wide open with this. And yep, that's about perfect for our size. So we'll just follow this right down along here. Shit. I don't know why my mouse keeps running that way. This is where I really needed to utilize it. Ah, damn, dude, just fucking this whole PSD up. I'm gonna just Control Z it all. I don't know why I fucked around with this as much as I did. Fucking idiot. So we'll just use a brush. Just hit it with the fucking color it is. And run with whatever the fuck it looks like. Because I ain't fucking with it no more. Pisses me off. And see how your colors don't really mix up the greatest. If you run into that problem, if you want it to kind of look more of a gradient and have them kind of flow together good, you see this finger that's kind of like, looks like you're pushing something? Click on that, Bad Jackson. Set it on 18. Turn your strength down, you know, depending on, and you can see, like, let's say this is how big it is. It's going to cover this whole area. So, you know, you want a fairly small one, you know, when working in smaller areas. Otherwise, it'll run into your other layers. And if you're just working, if you just have this picture selected, it'll actually go ahead and erase it to where you can see something underneath of it. So you got to kind of pay attention. So I'm going to take it, and I'm just going to kind of, we're going to make it a little bit bigger. Ah, shit. There's a control. Fuck. Let's go up to 3. See how that works. You guys could probably notice the difference there. Turn. Oh, that's why our strength's so goddamn low. Crank that up a little bit. You gotta see it working. Yeah. And that's how you can kind of make it flow a little bit better. And you can kind of come along here, clean this up a little bit if you wanted to. That just kind of makes it just flow a little bit nicer. Just kind of blend her all in. The thing I like about it is I can kind of fuck around with it faster. Now let's say, see how I went to the white there and then it kind of drug white into my picture? If you do that, you want to click in the zone and drag out of it, because you're wanting to spread that color out in a way. You're not wanting to pull this color into it. That's not what I was wanting to do at all. So like, you know, for instance, you know, see how I'm dragging the white in there. You see that? You see how I'm kind of opening it up? Kind of making it a little bit more clear. So that's something good to know. Let's go back to selecting things. So let's get this 7. And you see how blurry they are? That means that, you know, it's honestly, it's a big, too big in my opinion. That's what she said. Anyway, so we've got, instead of our magic wand tool, we're going to use our object selection tool. It's at 8. That's not too bad. I'm going to go to add, or you can go to this. Doesn't matter. So let's start with this. You see how it's already grabbing onto the object, but see how it left this spot here? We want this little corner here. So I just did a little click there. I did one click there, one click there. And we're just going to kind of add this. It'll kind of find the areas or the borders of things a little bit for you, but you got to kind of help it out a little bit. And again, you know, you can, it's all these things are stuff that you guys should play around with, experiment with, see what works for you, see what doesn't, you know, and that'll kind of help you figure things out a little bit more quickly. Let's say you wanted to get rid of that area. We're going to go to minus. We're going to take this all the way down, and we're going to just come in here and just drag it back. And you see how it gave us that shit version. We'll go back to plus. I know it's kind of a lot of back and forth bullshit. If that happens, just take what you got, and what I would do is just fix it in another view. What I mean by that is, I'll show you. So let's say we've got our number selected that we wanted. Okay, now you make sure that you are on the tab that is that layer. And how you know if it is that layer, we'll use the V tool, and we will click on that layer. Well, what in the fuck? Okay, hopefully yours isn't set up like mine is. It seems like I'm having difficulties. I had to hold control and left click. So try that out, see if that helps, if you guys have problems with it collecting. But you will try clicking on a different layer, and then click again on what you're after, and see if it moves down. If it moves, this isn't a good version. We'll delete. Oh no, we'll just move it up. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. So try those out. So now that you have this highlighted, which is the layer that this is, and the part that you want selected, this will help you with those logo sheets. All we're going to do is we're going to Control C, that is copy, and then we're going to click up here, and we're going to Control V, and boom, I've got a 7. So now you're probably wondering where that 7 is. So something I like to do is shut it off and turn it on. See if you can see it. No, I can't. So it's actually right over where your selection was. So when I take this, you see how that moves now too? So you can see what I'm doing with it. I'll bring it down here, and let's go ahead and get rid of this white. So we'll click on E for eraser, because that would be ideal rather than having to paint over it, you know, that way in case you had something like graphics or something underneath of it, it would show through. So we'll just kind of clean this up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my tool here and see if I can get it to select this a little better. So you see how I pulled this extra white and stuff along with it, and it's not selected? What I would do is I would just go ahead and erase what you can, because those are pretty good edges right there, you know, to go along and kind of clean that white stuff up. That way you can kind of work on other things later. So we'll go to E, that's your eraser tool. Make sure this is at 100. Make sure that's check marked too. Can't remember what it does exactly, but you want it check marked. And that's just your size. So this is your eraser. It's what it looks like, your eraser tool. It's E on your keyboard. And we're going to left click. We're going to drag it, and I'm going to see why my settings are fucky. I have some other setting in there. You should not have that line in there. What that does is it shows your smoothing and how fast you're smoothing. So we're going to turn smoothing all the way off. You want flow at 100, this at 100, and boom, boom, bam, bam. What in the country? Fuck. Oh, I fucked up. Control Z until you get back to where you hadn't touched it. I forgot to tell you, when you select it and you're wanting to, whenever you select, what's inside that box is what you're going to be utilizing. So to change that, you want to go to select inverse. Fuck, I don't think I got it. Select inverse. Hopefully I did. No, I did it one too many times. God damn it. Make sure you got that wand tool, otherwise you won't be able to do it like that. And you can also, let's say you already switched cursors and you want to, you can just simply go up here and do it like this. Go to inverse. So now let's see, with E, do we erase the white? Yes, the white is leaving now. So we can take that all out of there. Get rid of that bad Jackson. You see how it's not going into my paint any? It's cleaning that up nicely. Alright, now I'm going to hit Control D, and we're going to hit V, and we're going to drag it over onto something to where we can kind of see it a little bit better. That black's not the best to use. Let's say we'll just use this white right here to kind of do it. So now I'm going to hit, make sure that what you're using is selected up here. Make sure that that layer is selected, and you're going to hit Control T. That is transform. And you want to hold shift and go like this. Go straight to the left and straight to the right. See if your whole image subtracts together, your sides and your top. If it shrinks rather than doing this, you don't want it to do that. So hold shift or don't hold shift to do those two things right there. I'm going to go ahead and hit Control Z so we go back to our natural ratio, so that way things don't look stupid. And then I'm going to hold shift and bring it down. And then I'm going to hit V just to make sure that we have it. Now you notice there's no cursor selected. That's fine. That means that you've got the cursor you need. It's still a little big, so we will again hold shift, shrink it a little smaller, and then there we go. Now you can right click, and if you don't see place, just come over here, click on a different layer, and then go back to that layer. So in that way it'll place it so you can do other things with it. So now we're going to go back and zoom in, and now you can paint it and kind of clean it up that way. Granted, there's a better way to kind of do some of this stuff, but it's just too much information, and I kind of like painting it. It kind of gives you something to kind of makes it a little bit more of an artistic trait. But everybody has their own ways of doing things. So let's go, and a lot of it is too is the way we were selecting it. It wasn't allowing. So like for instance, let's say you download a picture from Google Images. It's one of my places I like to go and get content to kind of maybe throw in there and kind of use a little bit of. That's probably not fair to whoever created it, but I mean, fuck, my bad, dude. Like, so here we are trying to go ahead and get this looking a little bit better. We're going to go to brush. Granted, you guys are probably going to know how to use the brush pretty good right now. We'll go to eye first, make sure, and click. Make sure we got the right color. And we'll just kind of smooth it up as needed. And so, like, let's say we go ahead and let's turn our smoothing up on this one. And let's turn our flow down just a little bit. And let's see if you guys see a difference in anything. See how that line popped up? It kind of shows how fast things are reacting to what I'm doing. So my brush may be over here, but see how that line's far behind? It's because it's waiting to catch up. So you can just kind of go back and forth there till you just kind of get that blended in. So, you know, maybe you could turn the soothing up if you needed to or whatnot. Over here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go wide open with it so you guys can see there's just a lot of room for error. If you turn these settings down, it'll kind of make things go a little smoother. So we're going to click here. That got it looking, for the most part, better. If you guys really wanted to, you could zoom in with your E, and then we'll right click it so we can scale it down to one pixel, and you can come through and hit everything up to where it doesn't have a smooth transition. Oh shit, we have, whenever you're on 1, granted, you know, like, it actually, you kind of sometimes got to go back and forth across something. We'll go to 3, fuck it, it'll be fine. We're 3, that's good enough. See how it kind of went up into those a little bit? So we'll come down here, kind of give it a little transformation. Granted, I know I kind of zipped a little bit off. Maybe you guys will be better than I am. I'm just trying to teach you how to do some stuff, boys. I ain't trying to be the best at it. I just get asked a lot on how to do things, and I figured I would jump in, spread a little bit of my knowledge. It's not the best knowledge, but, you know, you want to be asking me if you had better knowledge available to you and you were using it. Because I know there is better knowledge available. You just ain't using it. Clean that up just a little bit. Back down to 1. Like I said, you can right click or you can go up to that bar. It does not matter. You just kind of want to stay away from that edge. Oh, it's really black. Just so you can kind of see what it looks like whenever things ain't so pixelated and you get in and you do the finer details. Like, let's say there's a decal that you really like and you've got to use it, and it's the only one you can find like it. You know, I switched back to my brush to kind of patch this back in because I fucked it up. And yeah, I don't have the cleanest mouth either. I apologize for that to an extent because it's just the way I talk. You know, it's just what I do. Oh, fuck. And Control Z undoes something if you happen to mess something up. Yes. Oh, shit. I hit G instead of B. That's why. So, make sure that is the darkest form. And see this? This is the... Oh, shit. You guys can't see that. This is the CMKY version, right? All I did is I double-clicked on this. And that's what brought this up to where you can change to a color you're after. And it goes off of these whenever you're dealing with colors in the RGB scale. This is all your CMKY gay stuff. Like, we don't even want to go roll over to that stuff. Anyway, so go back, double click on that. You always want to go all the way down. That way you get that nice, rich black that everybody loves so much. I meant to shut smoothing to 0. There you go. You see that? And you see how actually the actual number is a CMKY black? Because see how this is showing up and actually painting stuff? Yeah, no good. You want that rich black. I'm a big fan. So we'll erase some of this, get it knocked out. Alright, Control minus over on your number keyboard, and you can pull out and kind of see what it looks like. Now let's say that's where you wanted to put your design, your number at. You know, basically you kind of see how to kind of take something from one place and put it in another. Let's say we had, let's open up that actually let's go to the KX one that I just downloaded. We will open it up here, go to my downloads. That's where the most recently was. The fuck? No, it was the RMZ that I downloaded. And then I also have the 125. So if you got both of those, we're going to go to right click it, go to open with, and then go to Photoshop. Son of a bitch. The fuck? Okay. You want to open it up, my bad. If it's a RAR file, open it up. If it is a PSB or PSD, my bad, you'll want to, you can open it up like that. So we're going to double click this, README. It's always helpful to go ahead and check this out, see what it's got. It'll also include stuff that you're going to need to know. So see, everything's got its own normal maps. But yeah, Specular is already in the alpha channel. Steve, do not delete this. Okay, so diffuse, that's something you're going to want to remember. Diffuse is what you're going to use to actually do all your stickers, all your graphics, all your color changes, all your this and that, your diffuse layer. You don't want to mess with your normals map just yet. Normals is like, let's say it was a smooth seat and you put on your ribs and you wanted to have them ribs show up actually with a profile sticking up, you know. I did that earlier today, and I could probably show you guys how to do that, so in that way you guys are a little more advanced. You guys have got, you know, you can fall back on my video. Like I say, I'm going to kind of chunk it up into different sections so you can kind of find where you're at. Granted, I don't know how much it'll work. So we'll get out of that. So remember how I was saying earlier, your normals map, this is your normals map, your underscore in, and this is your reflection map. Remember how I was saying in that, in your painted, where did I have that? It's probably closed out of it. Yes, I'll pull it up real quick, just real quick. Now, you knew what I was talking about. I can show you real quick either way. So you want to keep those because those are what you're going to want to use whenever you go to actually put the file in game. And I'm going to start kind of trying to rush through this because I don't want to be here all night, and things can kind of tend to take a while. So we're going to take those two, we're going to drag them, we're going to drop them on our home screen. That way you see they're both target files, both right there, good to go. I'm actually going to make a folder real quick. I right clicked on my home screen, went to new, go into folder, gonna put stream Suzuki. We'll do RMZ, and then that way I can kind of keep this a little cleaned up, and we'll take those and just drag them into there. And you can drag them one by one, you can do what I did and select both of them, it doesn't matter. We'll get out of this, and then I'm going to, now if it's a PSD, double click it, it'll extract, and then it'll ask you, yes, let's assign to what we have set up. Perfect, thank you. let me make sure that we can do something real quick. Okay. I was having problems with it earlier and I could not figure out why. Alright, so this is what you get whenever you get one of Frosty's PSDs. Dude does a great job. Damien, for the model, you know, here's all your guys that you're going to want to probably shout out to if you are to use this PSD and put that into MX Bikes. Put it on their page. You're going to definitely want to recognize these people for what they have done. So again, here's where our layers come into play, and this is where I've heard a lot of people have problems. So if it is above something, it shows up on top, correct? So we're going to shut the first one off. Alright, so now you think that you're ready to go, because hey, you know, my spec and reflections map is off, in which, you know, let's click on that so I can show you. You remember that reflections mask I showed you earlier with the Kawasaki? That would be this little portion right here. So that needs to just stay off too. And honestly, we're going to go ahead and lock these. So I'm going to highlight them and let's lock them. That way they don't accidentally get turned on, because we have no use for them right now. It's same with the norms. This is your normal map, same as like what they had. You see how you got your rib seat, and see how it has definition now? That is how it's going to show up. So that's how you would make a normals map for those stitchings, like I was saying earlier. So we're going to shut this off. Come over here, we're going to highlight the channel, or the group, I guess, and we're going to lock it now. If you look, all those are locked now with inside there. So, and another thing is, if you shut the group off, you see how, alright, so imagine this is your thumbnail. Do you see how this falls over to the right? Okay, that means that it is actually underneath everything that is on this side of it. So for instance, technically this is going, this right here, if it was like a mask or something, because you'll see pictures, what's a good one? Here we go. Nope, that's not it. Let me go back up and shut this stuff back off, and I'll explain it down here. Let's shut our shading off, because that is, they're like little overlays. Let me find a good one. Alright, you'll notice it a bunch in this. So they're little overlays that if you go to adding stuff to the paint, and this is what is still showing up there, you're going to go ahead and have your stuff be on top of that, so it won't have the definition and the shading that it needs for maybe that particular area or spot on the bike. So you're going to want to shut all those off, and I highly recommend going ahead and closing that group up and locking it as well. AIO, well, let's see what you are. That is basically like another shading. It kind of lets you know what parts are. See, let's zoom in, and you can kind of look around. You know, if you got to go back up to if you got to go back up to shading to maybe spot some parts that you're wanting to change colors of, by all means, go up there and turn that bad girl on, because this isn't the best one to do it with. Trying to look for certain things here. Alright, so here is your clutch cover, for instance. So we'll zoom out. You see how they got that kind of just painted in the general area. And you want to watch where you paint, you know. So granted, you ain't got the 3D viewer to just kind of quickly jump in and out. You'd have to use MX Bikes. This is, of course, your chain. You see that? So you could go through if you wanted to, and you could paint each one of those bad girls gray if you wanted to, and give it the little extraness that it might need to look a little better in game if you wanted to. There's just endless possibilities. Um, you know, up here, these would be your lower forks. Here's your radiator. Here's your upper forks. Here's your fork guards. Here's your Renthal pad. I believe this is your gas tank. No, it's your front fender, or your front number plate. I see it now. Your exhaust. You know, and I mean, you can literally do whatever you want. Like, let's say you wanted to change the color of these. So we're going to go ahead and remember how I said it's best to go ahead and see, make sure everything's off that's above it. So we're going to use this tool. We're going to control this. Alright, so this is actually the next thing that shows up. Crazy. But since these are locked, you can actually have them on, I believe, and still use your tool like this. So if you wanted to keep the AO on, you could just lock it, and it will not allow any changes to be done to that layer, such as accidentally moving it. I had a bad problem with doing that whenever I was getting started. Like, oh, you know, I didn't mean to move that. Oh, you know, and wherever you click, granted with it being control click, you know, it's kind of harder to hit that button. So now if you want to fix things, you just control Z, and make sure everything's back the way it was. If you went too far with control Z, like I say, go to edit and go to redo. So now you should be good to go. So let's go back to changing the color of these. Alright, so the best way I think to do this is, you don't want to move those now, we'll just scroll down with our mouse, is to, so he's already got effects on this. Let's see what effects he has. Oh, so he has a color overlay, and that's what effect he has. So we're going to double click on that, and it brought up this box right here. So we'll skip all this stuff, don't mess with it, and we'll go straight to color overlay. We'll click on that. If it's not check marked, you can check mark it. That is how you can change the color without having to paint something like I did before, because you've seen how much of a pain in the ass it can be and stuff. So let's say you only wanted to change the color of a couple of them. Okay, so let me finish, I guess, with changing the whole color. So once you have this selected, you'll click on color overlay, double click on it. That way you know for sure it brought up this. You can go here, and I just clicked on it once, and you can bring up this. We'll change them to a brighter red. Let's get that brighter red going. We're going to hit OK, and then we're going to hit OK, and boom. You see how that's a different color than this color? But let's say you wanted to do this color and this color the same as it is, but leave those two like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this selected, and then we're going to come and grab our wand, which is W. We're going to click these. Okay, and then we're going to come down here, we're going to grab a new layer, and it'll put it above that. So I don't want to go above that, I want to go below it, because I'm going to shut the color overlay off so it goes back to the original. But now if you want to do it in a different color and you want these to show up, so we'll shut these off. You have these selected or highlighted, you got your marching ants going around them, and you want to make sure that you're on this whenever you go to use your magic wand tool. That way it is selecting those and not something else below or above it, because it'll select the whole property and mess it up. So let's paint this Let's paint them black. And we're going to go to brush. Now watch this cool stuff. We're going to go, we'll right click, we'll turn that all the way up. And let's do this one black, just get it all filled in. Look at there, nothing runs off onto the seat. Now if you go over onto this where it's highlighted, it's going to get into it. So we're going to get rid of that and just get this one. Make sure you get all around those marching ants, because those are pixelated marching ants to where you sometimes will have like a bleed through that you don't see. See, it looks like it got it pretty close, but now we're going to hit Control Z or Control D to deselect them. Granted, you see how I changed this one? I messed up. So we're going to hit Control D, or wait, Control Z, and then Control Z again, and go back to where they were just like they were, and we're going to click on this layer, that one that we added from down here, and this is the one that we want to paint. My mouse is messing up on me. So we'll paint this one. Now if you want to leave them that color, boom, there you go. But let's say you didn't want them that color, or later on you decided to change them. You could go ahead and go over here. You don't have to have these highlighted either, so we'll hit Control D, get those out of the way so that's not highlighted no more. And we will double click on this, brings up this, click on color overlay, double click that. We're gonna change this and we're gonna go to that bright ass red like we were wanting, and bam, you have it like that. And now let's say you want to know what something is because it doesn't show up and it doesn't say what it is. You can go here and then you can do Control C, I think, or Control click. Yes, Control and then left click, and it'll highlight that area and it'll show what it is doing to that image. So when you're zoomed all the way out, you might not see something that's small. You might have to scroll in and hold your space bar and kind of look around a little bit. So let's say we wanted to change those stitchings to, how about a white? We'll double click on that, go to the color overlay, go here, we're going to take it to white, we're going to get OK, OK, and then we're going to Control D, and bam, we got our stitchings. So let's get a graphic on there. So let's go, we'll go here, we'll type in Suzuki. Better yet, here, I'll give you guys this. Let's go to World of Brands. This is a good place to get some good things. Now granted, with them being vectors, there's a little something extra you have to do to them to be able to manipulate them in game. So we'll go here, we'll type in Rockstar Suzuki. Let's see what we get. Boom. Alright, so we'll click here, we'll get it, we'll come down, agree. But yeah, let's go with this bad boy. I like that better. That looks way better. I agree. Download. Ah, fuck. Again, this is why I use Illustrator, but I believe we can still open it up within that. If not, I will give you guys another one. Shit. And if you can get Illustrator for free, I recommend it. There's a lot of the same basic things that are used. If you guys are interested in learning maybe a crash course on logo making, I am probably the godfather of building logos. Not to toot my horn, but I am what I am, and I am what I am. So that's one way to get one. Let's do another one real quick. Let's go to Google and let's just type in what we just did. I don't know why I did that. Google's my default. Rockstar Suzuki. Okay. We want the logo. So let's do logo. And I would go after PNG. Because you see how you have that transparent look? That'll erase you from having to maybe erase all this white behind it. But that's where that magic wand tool could come in handy. So I will go ahead and grab, let's open this up. We'll grab this one. And what I like to do is I like to open image in new tab. That way I can kind of see what it looks like. And yes, you're going to get that white with it. That's fine. So I can copy it and I can go here, and then another thing you could do is edit and then paste. You see how it shows up there? But now look, you see how you can't see it anywhere? So we're gonna do control left click, and there it is. So we have it hidden behind other things, so it's down too far. Let's take it up. Let's go up and keep going up. What I'm looking for is plastics. Alright, so there's plastics. See the cutout? That's what you want to be above. That's your basically like your main thing. So we're going to want to be right in between those, because this is actually your cutout. You see that now? That's basically, you've already got your plastics there, but it's what is your whole sticker on your actual dirt bike, basically. So everything that is white here and not black going around these edges, that is how far the sticker is going to overlap. And you can kind of see the definition, you know, hey, there's a bend here. So, you know, if I was to go ahead and lay a sticker right here, it's going to, you know, half of it's going to be facing the sky and the other half's going to be facing, you know, the side. So, you know, you got to kind of play with it as you go. You know, you can kind of zoom in. Okay, I know that this is a flat edge. This is a slightly, it's probably like a 45-degree bend in, so it'd be kind of like your rear fender. So we're going to shoot to aim for it to be probably right in here, because this looks like a nice flat edge that shows outward, or if we can get it to fit in here, that'd be great. So we have this image. Granted, you could go ahead and scale it to what you want. Oh shit. We'll go to B. Like I said, you want to make sure you're on this tool. And sometimes that tool shows up, sometimes it doesn't. You see how your image disappeared? That's fine. It's because the only layer that it is above is the cutout layer. There's other layers that are more dominant to this one. So keep going over. Granted, it is a lot easier to just scale out and then move to there. Now, you probably are thinking, well, hey, you know, it pretty much matches up to the white. Yeah, it does, but it doesn't look that good. Because watch when I do this. Control D, deselects it, bam, looks like shit. So now, since we brought it over here, let's go ahead and it does not need rasterize. So sometimes you need to rasterize. What a fucking shitty word. The layer or the layer style, and what that does is it kind of just makes it editable. There's also a rasterize smart object or whatever. Well, here, I'll show you if it, in case it was a smart object, you'll go to rasterize layer. So let's go with E, And let's just kind of get rid of some of the extra stuff that I know we don't want to look at. So let's go E. Make sure this is selected, otherwise you might be erasing something else. And we'll just take that out. Take that out. Just kind of get it in a little closer, see if we can't get this to work. And like I say, you know, with all these, you got to kind of play around with them a little bit. Like I said, I just started messing around with this one. It's kind of one of my favorites. So let's check these and see how things go to work. So far, so good. And by the way, I am letting off and it's retracting to just like I want it to. So let's hope it does that all the way around. I'm actually going to go a little bit more wild with my gathering of it just to see how well it does. And it kind of messed up there, but we'll just keep going and we'll come back to that aspect and clean that up. Then we're going to come and jump over here. Oh, it did that pretty damn good. That's fire. I like whenever it does that. Let's go ahead and we'll just click once. It kind of got the tip there. Click over here, get that a little bit better. Now we'll go, and that was on plus the whole time. We'll go to minus because we're wanting to get rid of this now. So remember, everything that's inside the ants is editable. Okay, it still kind of is a little fucky. See these spots? So we're going to kind of clean those up a little bit. Kind of take that off a little bit there. Go back to our plus. We'll get this here. Looks pretty good. We'll call that good. So now, since that's selected, we'll only be able to edit the inside of this image because that's the part that we selected. So we're gonna right click. We're gonna do select inverse. Boom. So now we'll go to E and then watch this. Bam, 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 bam. And you have it all gone. Now we'll control D to release it. See, I got a little bit of white there. We'll just get rid of that. That must have got thrown in there somehow. You can go through and clean it up as needed, but I don't feel like it needs too much. I'm just very OCD with my stuff. I like it to look good. Okay, good enough. So that's how you can take a PNG image and put it on the bike, or take an image from Google. Let's go ahead and see if we can't. We'll go back here, get out of this. Let's take this right here, because see how this has got this background. Now, depending on where you get it from, you see how this wants to take you to Pinterest? Don't go there. If it says free, 9 times out of 10, they want you to make an account. It's usually not free. But I do recommend going there because I have ran in. I might actually have an account with these ones. So we'll go to this site just in case. Because I guess I'll take that back. There are 1 or 2 that are fire as hell for getting materials and stuff. But like I say, if you go ahead and you get this, let me find it. I'll open it up. It's them logo packs that I was talking about. They will make your day so much easier. Where are they? That's old stuff. Here we go. Here's one. Oh, you guys don't see a lot of this stuff that pops up because I've got two screens going. Let's go here, assigned to our working condition. Oh my god. So I wasn't paying attention. I opened it up and god damn it. You want your PSD. I was opening up the wrong one. So come here, we'll convert it. Now I don't usually, like I say, I don't do my logos in here. I know how to. I'm not a fan. Let's see here. But there. So here's numbers you can use. You know, I fucking love this logo. I'm a fan of it. We'll go to V, Control, and select it. So you can always check to make sure it's that one by kind of just giving it a little browse through and seeing how it looks. Alright, so it is it. So let's go ahead, and since this is selected, we'll just control and click, and that all should be selected. No, it's not. Fuck, okay. So now that we have this, let's go ahead and see what happens if I use my V tool. Now move it, because it doesn't look like it's going around the whole image, but it is. So here's something cool you can do. You can drag it, and you can take it up here to your layer. Sometimes you gotta wait for it to load. Come on, bitch. Okay. Okay, so that ain't working. So we'll just hit Control C for copy, and then we're gonna Control D to just deselect it, so in that way, you know, we don't have something else going on in the background. We'll click on this. Now you can go either to edit, and you could have went ahead while that was highlighted. You could have went to edit in the other screen and went to copy rather than Control C. But Control C is just handy as fuck once you get used to it. Then you can go ahead and either paste it, or look, you can do Control V. We'll do the Control V. Boom, you got this. Oh wait, so what happened to that black spot? Okay, what that is that layer had effects with it. So you could go back here and you could take, let me kind of scoot this over so you can see. We're gonna right click on those. Wait, actually what I'm gonna do, because I'm not sure how I'd actually carry those over, I'm gonna just right click and rasterize layer style. What that means is see how it's now all one. There's no, it's because now I'm not able to just grab that white like is over here. So we're gonna Control click, left click, you see how it's got the black now? Then we're going to Control C, Control D to let go of it. Go back over here. And then we're going to Control V, and bam, we have that there. So that's how you can kind of go ahead and grab something from those layer packs and put them on here. Now let's say you get it in here and this is all you got, but you're wanting to make it bigger or smaller. You're going to Control T, and then remember to hold on to your shift. That's how you can drag it and keep the same pixels and stuff. So let's zoom out a little bit. Let's scoot these bars back over because that's about as annoying as fuck. And something else you can do if you got two monitors is just go ahead and grab the tops of these, and if you want to, drag them to a whole nother screen, and that way you can utilize this whole screen. I love having dual monitors. It is handy as hell. Makes it to where you can zoom in and see things. But I'm going to come back over here now and drag this up into here and put it back. Just drag it up against that wall. You see how that blue showed? That's how you know that you are getting ready to drop them into the window. Okay. So, look, and now notice how everything is still above the cutout. Okay. So it's just like we wanted it to be. I don't know why that got shut off. And once you have something the way you want it, it's never a bad idea to go ahead and hit it with a lock. That way, you know, if you were to come and you were to grab something and start trying to move it, you know, you can't because it's fucking locked, asshole. So that's just kind of good. And then sometimes you'll run into the factor where you're trying to click on something underneath something else. In that case, I suggest doing the control left click to grab it, and then yes, it'll go ahead and go through it if it needs to. And if you need to shut it off to see it, to do things with it, you're more than welcome to. But anyway, let's get back to adjustments. So let's say we wanted to take this Rockstar, for instance. Say we wanted to take it and we wanted to put it on the front fender. And you see how the front fender, we know that it's got a natural roundness to it. You know, we know we got that. By the way, this is the top side of the fender, this is the bottom side, and remember, this is white, so this is part of your cutout. And if you're wanting to change the colors of your cutout, you know, you can, like I say, you can double click it if you're wanting all one color of it, and then you can just add in decals or this or that. Now let's say, it's something else I should probably show you. Let's say you want to go ahead and make a decal that goes onto those stickers, you know, like some sort of abstract thing. You'll go over here and you see this weird little object. We'll click on it, we'll right click, make sure that you get the polynomial lasso, and what you're going to do is you'll click, that starts it, and then you got a line. Okay, now if you click and hold, excuse me, click and hold, what, see, I just let go there. So let's do that. Let's go here, and each time that I stop and I stop moving, I'm clicking. So far I've clicked 1, 2, 3, 4 times. We'll do this here. Let's go. I like them sharper edges. And then we'll just pull it off down here, and then we'll reconnect it right here, just as long as you reconnect it, I guess, from the start point. Now we have this. Now what you're going to want to do with this is make sure that you've got a fresh layer, because you could have started making it on any layer, but just make sure you got a fresh layer and you have it selected. Then come over here to your paint bucket. This is like a fill tool. And we're just going to fill that in. Granted, whenever it's not on a full same colored surface, it doesn't register with the fill bucket. But what we can do is we can go ahead and grab our brush. I believe no streaks. Alright, you see how it's not showing up, but if you look over here, see how it's showing up? So just trust the process. Boom, we've got it all painted, it looks like over here. Let's go ahead and we're going to Control T, and then we're going to make sure we got our move module selected, or at least the tool we were using unselected. And all I did was I went ahead and I waited for, see how you can change your size and stuff of it if you wanted to. I waited till it turned to an angle like that. That's how you can rotate it. Okay, and let's just go ahead and deselect it. Control D. Shit, I want to get rid of those blinking lines, I can't stand them. And let's go ahead and we'll click on that. We'll do Control click. God damn it, that's the whole reason. Control D, click on that, and then do Control T, And then as long as you're just within this box, I believe it'll grab into it. And if you look, do you see this? Okay, that is what I'm talking about your marching ants. It always has a little extra or a little less of what the hell you're trying to do. It's only downfall with it, with using the magic ants. Anyway, so now let's go ahead and rotate it into something like this. You know what? I don't like the way that looks. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to right click on it. And now these are all some things that you can kind of mess around with and try them out. But if you hold Control or Alt on these squares as you move them, they will do a number of these too. Besides warp, I believe it won't do warp. So now let's say you wanted to just rotate it 180 degrees because it would go on the other side and you can keep the same scale ratio. Cool. But I want to go ahead and flip. If you flip vertical, that means that this is now going to be the top and this is going to be the bottom. These will still be the same sides, it's just this portion is switched. If you do vertical, this is horizontal, they flip this way. So we're going to go with, I want to go with vertical, so I want that thick part up above, since it's a little bit thicker. Let's do, something like that. And then let's do Control D. No, we'll just click on another layer. And now let's say you wanted to do another one and add it into that one because it's all the same shroud, and you want to just be able to copy and paste it into or copy it to put it on the other side. Or better yet, here, let's add another one in there. Go to our polygon tool. I think it's K. Yes. Get my mouse back here. Let's say I wanted to go ahead and I wanted to come up like this. Come down like this. Now let's add a little flare to it. Just touch it right back to home. Okay, let's go with how about a yellow? So we stay with the same color of yellow. We're gonna hit I. We'll get that yellow. We'll hit G because I'm curious on if the bucket fill works. We'll click on this layer and then we'll just click. So now do you see, looks like I missed this portion here. I wonder why that is. Click again, then boom, you've got that added in. Now if you notice, do you see how it kind of has like shading in it, and it's darker in spots and lighter in spots? That's with your shading maps being on. If we were to go up and shut those off, do you see how it kind of changes? Okay, so now let's say you don't like this stuff inside there. Since this is already selected, I would just grab your brush tool and I would come and I would just get rid of all them. And you see how this actually just erased this, because see, we are on the same layer as that black. So let's get rid of that. And now we know, let's scale it down a little smaller. So that way we can kind of just work in between those areas as needed. And look, you know, you won't go out as long as those marching ants are on. So you can kind of get a little wild once you get away from the black. In there. So now you have this object in there with that one. We're going to control, nope, we'll just click on another layer, nope, control D to get rid of that. But now let's say we want to make the other side match this one. We're going to kind of clean this up and make it look like a reasonable fucking bike. And I'm just clicking, guys. I ain't doing any extra keys besides holding shift whenever I go to shrink it a little smaller, and then just waiting for my little cursor to change. If it doesn't say place whenever you right click, just go over here and click on the edge somewhere or another. Let's say take the Rockstar one, I'll actually blow it up a little bigger. See how I got my brush tool? Let's get rid of that. Go to my V tool, Control T. Let's blow this bad girl up. We'll hold shift. What the fuck? Control Z. Holding shift this time. It's a shit logo. This is what I'm talking about, guys. You wanna, whenever you look for logos, you want to look for good ones. Otherwise, you'll have dog shit like this to work with. So let's scale it down a little bit. And we'll call that good for now. Alright, so let's zoom out. And there you go. That's kind of like what you got for right now. Let's zoom back in. Now you remember that rotate tool I showed you? This is where it can kind of come in handy. So you hit R for rotate, and then let's just spin this 180 degrees. And it didn't quite get there. We got there though now. We'll zoom out, we'll get recentered where we want to be. So now we're going to just take this, we're going to click on it, right click, go to duplicate layer, go to OK, and then we're going to do, make sure you got the copy version, and then Control T, and then we're going to right click on it, and we're just going to go ahead and do flip vertical, because this is vertical. And then we're going to grab it and we're going to drag it and we're going to try to place it as close to the way the other one is as possible. Look for your markers, you know, like you've got this to kind of go off of, you've got this to go off of. Just kind of go off of all your edges and where they kind of meet at, how far they are away from this, how far they are away from that, and just try to get it as best as you can. Granted, the best part about it being the other side is the motherfuckers more likely can't see the other side. So, you know, just get it close, and that's all you can ask for. So now it looks like this one has a little bit more, it's not as flat as the other one, it's kind of more standing up. So what I'm going to do to kind of make it line up a little better, see how it's kind of turning away? We're going to kind of just rotate it a little bit. And we're going to bring it up. I don't like the way that's, tiny up. Okay, well that is pretty spot on though. Besides, I think I went a little too much. Okay, it's about as good as it's gonna come. And this is where I'm talking like you can hold control and then like see how it's bringing it down at a distinct angle. You know, you can do that. And anytime you make an adjustment, let's say that, you know, oh fuck, I didn't mean to do that. Just Control Z, you know, take it right back to the way it was. But yeah, so go ahead and mess around with all this stuff. It's going to probably take you a little bit to kind of figure things out, just kind of review on this. And this is basically, for the most part, most of the stuff you need to learn to use Photoshop. Now, actually, we'll do one more thing I guess I forgot about. Let's pretend that went on there. We'll get rid of it. Go to add. Let's go your text. Say you wanted to put your name on the bike. So you're going to hit T. Then make you a big area. Okay? Now it's already going to come up with some shit, so just ignore that and then type in your name. Granted, you kind of want to do it on something to where you can see, but for this instinct, oh, and it is upside down, that's fucking why. Let's rotate that and we'll bring it back around. We'll just Control Z it and just start over. Let's delete that shit. God damn it. Thought I deleted you. Alright, so rotate. Bring this motherfucker back around. And that was the R tool on your keyboard, by the way. You'll eventually figure them all out, and I mean, if you pay for Adobe, you can get the cool things that literally once you hover over them, it reminds you of the keys. All else fails, get you a little pad and paper, write them down, and put them next to your monitor as a reference guide to kind of help remind you as needed. Here, we'll actually do numbers this way. That's what we'll do. So let's do your number right here. So let's do 7, 4 to the 3. And now whatever color you have selected over there before you start typing is the color that will show up. So keep that in mind. But if you are inside the box, don't click too far. Don't click, because otherwise it'll think that you're selecting out of it, and it's kind of a pain in the ass to get back in it. We'll just go and cut. Once you're got all them highlighted, come over here, double click on this, and let's go with a fancy ass red, bud. Get her red. Boom. She is red now. You can't see it, but it is. So now you're thinking, well, fuck, I got these, you know, how do I change my text and stuff? Up here is this. Another thing you can do, which I recommend, is go in here and then just go to your properties is one I recommend having open. And what the hell is that thing called? I don't know why. I think it's character. Yeah. Okay, so we'll incorporate these in there. So you got a character layer. Move it over. So here you can go through and you can download. If you go to the font or there's tons of font pages that you can just go through and type in something, search it, and it'll show you a font that's written out in that. Here we go. Oh, I guess it's got all mine in here. We'll go to one of my faves. So we'll do this. Now, once you have that like so, we'll go ahead and we'll take it up a couple notches. What I like to do is just go ahead and come in here and just push up and on my up and down arrow. Now, once you get to these, it will take away your 3. So you want to keep that in mind. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to scrunch it together. Oh, pull it open a little bit more. This is kind of the first time I've ever used this tool, because like I say, I use them in Illustrator usually. And we'll go with control. I think it's control place. Fuck. Should be good. We'll drop it like that. Make sure we're on our move tool. Fuck. Control Z. Go here. Now we have this right here. Now you see how I got it highlighted over here? We're going to do Control T, and now we're able to adjust it as we wish. It's definitely too wide of a number. We'll smush it together, and then we'll bang it out big. Roll it down a little bit on this side. Okay, now once you have that, we'll click out of it, and now yes, just a solo layer. That kind of looks gay, right? So let's double click on this text, and so let's do an inner shadow, and this is all stuff that you guys are gonna have to play around with, but we're just gonna click on that. This is how much it shows through. See, this is your main color that you're using, for instance. So whenever you use this, this is how much it's going to change towards white. You know, which in this instinct, let's say white is your, well, here, I'll just move so you can see, because as long as you got this previewed, it'll show you kind of what you're doing. So we'll take it down here. See what that does. You see that? You see how it actually, fuck, my bad. I am on blending options and not inner stroke. So this is where you can see the opacity in it of that stroke. So now let's say, let's get rid of this, because these are a stroke. A stroke is basically like, see how it went all the way around? Okay, rather than just one side, it's looking at it as an image and only doing certain aspects of it. So here's this contour. Whenever you do this noise, it looks ugly as shit. Like, some people probably are going to think that looks fucking goated. I'm not a fan. You can change, you know, these aspects. Kind of just go through and see what you like. You know, just kind of play around with it, like I say. Your choke, that's how you can make it bigger, deeper. Your size, of course, is how much of the line it takes up. So let's say you wanted to add another stroke and another stroke. Just wanted to make it just fucking wild. You can go to even like a bigger stroke. Hell, you can even go ahead and do just that stroke, for instance. turn this down a little bit. Let's say you wanted to stroke around the outside. See that? You see how you can do that? And like, so check this out. You can change the color of it. So let's say we wanted to go with, I'll have this one. Fuck. Just gotta click once. Go to white, and bam. So that's some stuff you guys can play around with. You know, you can go to outer glow. You know, there's just so many possibilities, and if you want to add more to it, you know, just kind of mess around with it. But that ought to get you guys going for now. Get your PSDs done. Once you have them done, I will repost another video probably tomorrow of how to put that in game. And if you're using the Suzuki model, better yet, so you know, I'll just do it real quick because it isn't going to take long. I was just kind of getting tired. You're going to want to save this. So that way you can, if you save it, just click save. It's going to save it and it's going to be this. I would not recommend doing that if you're putting it in the same folder. If you're putting it in different folders, that's fine. But once these two get put together, you will lose your original copy of the PSD, and it'll just be that copy. So if you deleted anything or changed anything too heavily, you won't be able to revert it back to the original. So what I like to do is I like to just do save as and we'll do the fucking old stream RMZ, bud. And now you're going to want to save it just like it is as a PSD. We'll save that. Now let's go and open our painted. Okay, so now that that's open and ready to go. Now, once this is all, you got all your stuff in, let's go through and close all these layers up. Make sure you got everything turned on. So go down through and make sure not everything's turned on, but if it was something that you turned off, that you turn it back on. So, and I didn't really explain too much about this whole thing here. All right, so this is our seat, right? So see how these are kind of offset and such. So, you know, these of course are above those ones below them. But do you see how this comes over and it's farther over this way than these are? That means even though it is above them, it still holds priority to where, like, these things, like right here, for instance, you see how those are over? These things actually are on top of those, because the farther to the right you go and the farther down you go, imagine they're columns, you know, like this is a column. So if you're above me on this, you're gonna be seen and I'm not. If you're over here, but I'm down over here, I'm gonna be above you because you're so far over there. Your up and down columns hold magnitude. Where they're at up and down shows the first phase of who has priority. Then the people that are over this way have last priority. So like if the closer it is to this, if it's touching this like this is, it's on your primary channel. We'll call it a channel. It's about the best way to put it. And now these are your channel A's, the stuff that goes up and down, all these columns, these are your A channels. And then imagine these channels that go over and over this way, your B channels. Your A channels are always above your B channels, if that makes any sense. So everything will close everything up. And like I say, you know, you can go in here and change everything. Let's say you wanted to do this. Remember what I said? You can, you know, change your color overlay. You can't see it probably. It's this shit here somewhere. There you go. You can kind of see the color overlay that's been done. You know, right here, you know, you can go into your engine parts right there. If you wanted to double click that, if you wanted to change it even, you could click this one instead of this one. Now you would have to go back to your norms and you'd have to create a new normals map. That's something I'll explain in the future, but you can just double click a layer if it's already been painted. If it has not been painted and it does not show, if it's all one layer, such as like this is all kind of one layer, don't try to use it to mask, or I guess mask with a color, because that's basically what you're doing whenever you do a color overlay, is masking that layer. So let's get out of this. I'm curious as to what the hell this is. Oh, that looks kind of fucking sweet. It's never a bad idea to maybe turn something on or shut something off. You never know what all you have. Just try to, you know, and some things that don't show up, if you know what they are and then you know where they are, hold control and left click with your V tool, your move tool, and hover above that area if you have it turned on, and it should direct you towards the layer that is above it, unless it is locked. And you can save the channels and you can save layers even if they're locked. They'll still show up like they need to, but if the eye is not turned on, you will not see that one. So that's why I mean you want to go through and make sure everything's turned on before you save it for in-game use. Now, saving it just like a PSD, these are not a big thing. You can always go and turn these on and off whenever. So we got this. So I actually messed up. These are all supposed to be, so I'll click on this one, and then if I hold shift and I click here, fuck, why ain't it selecting that? Okay, never mind, hold control. If you click on one layer, you go down to the very bottom where you want to, and you hold shift and you click, it should highlight, there we go. It'll highlight everything up to that point. So like this one, and I'm gonna hold shift, click, boom, everything's highlighted. And you want actually your graphics to be in this graphics folder. Boom. That way they're graphics, you know, like they go on top of the sticker. This is your sticker. And so you don't ever mess this up, I recommend making copies of it and just locking them and hiding them, because I used to always accidentally erase them and it never come back the way you wanted it to. They're hard to do. Anyway, got those all turned on. We'll minimize our graphics, make sure everything's pulled up and nice and tight, looks good. Remember, we're going to want our AIO on. Anything else we have off, we're going to want to turn it back on, besides the norms and the reflected. We already have those. So then, once you have all that stuff on, you're going to want to go up to File, Save as a Copy. And now, I already know this because of the TGA code, but it'll be RMZ underscore, and that's it. Actually, it might just be RMZ. Let me check the painted file. Okay, so here, save the diffuse texture, which is what we just did. Everything, even the shading, is included with the diffuse. It's, you know, it's not a normal and it's not a reflection map. So you'll save this as this right here. That'll be your name. So we'll copy that, and you're going to want to check, because I believe each of these templates that you can get from that link that I'm going to paste is part of it. And yeah, they might be down in the comments too, in case I'm unable to edit all that stuff. But I should be able to. Check it out. Anyway, we'll get back. We're almost done. We'll go to paint read. Or no, my bad. We're not even wanting this right yet. Okay, so right here's where we were. We're gonna copy and paste. So Control V. And then you've got your RMZ.TGA. Now, don't save it as a Photoshop. You want to save it as a target. Always save it as a target if it's going into the game. It won't work with anything else. So you'll save that. And you're going to want 24 bits. That's what it said. And you'll OK that. And where the fuck did that go? If you forgot, if you didn't pay attention where it went, just come up here, go to save as a copy, and boom, that's where it went. Okay. I don't know why I did that. Let's see here. Data, what was it? Local AAR. So maybe Adobe. Fuck it, I'm just gonna redo it because I don't remember where the fuck it went. Just gonna put it on my desktop, fuck it. We'll put it right in that damn folder we were doing. So if it's on your desktop, it should show up. Mine's not because I think I'm on different. There we go. So my stream RMZ, that's where we want it to go. So we'll open that up. Go to the target. Bam. There's the other ones we need too along with it. So you're going to want to make a folder with all these in there. And remember, you can get those from right here. But you're going to want your diffuse, which is the one we're going to save. And then you're going to want these two as well. And then if you also have, if you do a set of wheels, which is, you know, your rims and hubs and spokes and etc., which is that wheels PSD, you will save it as wheel.tga, and then you'll also put it in this folder, and you'll also pack it along too. I'll go ahead and I'll grab, fuck it, I ain't grabbing one. But yeah, so now that we're done with that, look at there, see, it changed it on me. So we'll just kind of cheat a little bit, do that, I'll hit my backspace a few times, bang bang, and boom, saved it to that file. 24 bits, perfect. And that's why I've got so much shit on my computers, because I do shit like that. So now let's direct read it. So this is on our desktop. So we'll go here, stream RMZ. We'll go to OK. So now, bam, we have our reflections, our normals, and our RMZ. Now, make sure this is the one highlighted. I don't know if it matters, but I would just do it. And now this is the name that it will show up in game as. So you can make this whatever you want it to. Just copy it when you're done. So we'll go with stream RMZ. I'll get rid of that fucking T. That's gonna annoy me. And now I'm going to just copy, Control C, and then you want to pack. Now where you pack it at is you're going to just, what I would do is just, you can pack it to right back to your desktop, and then you have to drag that paint into your folder. But I recommend just go into your bikes folder, recent items. Come on, Paboso. There we'll go. So you guys know what to do. Go to this PC. Make sure you're in that one. Don't go to that shit. Go to this PC. We'll go to Documents. Paboso. MX Bikes. Mods. Bikes. Go till you find Suzuki RMZ 250. It'll also work on the 450 too, so you can save it in there if you wanted to. But we'll go to the old Suzuki. We'll click that one time. Now right here, erase this, and then Control V to paste it. And then you just open that up and make sure you open in Paints. Make sure it's all the way into Paints, otherwise it won't be saved right. And you'll just save. And now this is going to kind of act laggy. See how I'm trying to click it and move it? Once you get the not responding, wait. And then once it stops saying that, that means it is loaded in and done. So then you can exit out of this. We'll save all this shit. Exit out of this. Exit out, exit out. Pull up some bikes. What the fuck happened to my screen? So we'll go to bikes, go to your OEM, so that's your RMZ, go here, wait for this slow motherfucker to go. And then we will go to paint. Boom, there's a stream RMZ. And there is that ugly motherfucker. Actually, it don't look too bad. If I went ahead and I touched it up a little bit, made some things look a little better, put a little bit of effort into it, dude, it's actually not too bad. I'm kind of digging the whiteness. But yeah, so that's how you get a bike, create a paint, get it loaded in, and get things looking fresh. Shout out to everybody involved, dude, that makes this possible. You know, that's one of the best things about this game is being able to completely customize things at our own free will. It sucks, you know, like with everything that happened with Insane, that things had to go the way they did. But, you know, shitty people are going to be shitty people, dude. And they're going to continue to be and do things wrong. Doesn't mean that his hard work and everything hasn't gone unnoticed, you know. I've mentioned it a few times, such as how he's able to, you know, manage doing everything that he does. You know, like, does he have a full-time job? Because I thought this was it, you know, like, you know, if you guys got an extra buck or two, hey, dude, $1 from everybody in the community would be able to keep that dude's lights on at his house, you know, to where he hasn't got to go out and work because he puts probably over 12 hours in every day on MX bikes, and it's been years of doing it. I couldn't imagine playing the same game for years. Granted, I have, but I mean, but being as involved as he is and having so many responsibilities, you know, they're not necessarily probably responsibilities in our eyes, but for him, they are his responsibilities. Like, he feels like he has to do this. So, you know, give back to the guy, you know, don't be a piece of shit and just fucking take and take, you know, give back to people as much as you can. That's why, you know, I'm here doing what I'm doing. It's trying to give back a little bit because, you know, I do latch onto things such as, you know, fucking stickers off fucking Google, you know, something I didn't create, but you know, it's uh it's just easier to get things done that way. Probably makes me sound shitty, but can I say I'm a shitty person? So from all the trailer parks in Iowa, I'd like to appreciate you guys from jumping in and take care.